The elite's propaganda machine, weaponizing religion, nationalism, hard work, and systemic inequities to divide and exploit America. Introduction: The Real War, Bottom versus Top. America's elite wield a powerful playbook to maintain control and wealth. They manipulate religion, nationalism, the hard work ethos, immigration narratives, predatory lending, healthcare, SSDI denials, and the myth of unions to distract and divide the working class. These tools perpetuate systemic inequities while ensuring the elite thrive. This is not about left versus right. It's a war of the bottom versus the top, with the vast majority exploited to preserve elite power. The double standard of free money. The elite benefit from unearned wealth while demonizing social support systems. Inherited wealth and investments. The elite enjoy inherited fortunes and passive income but label safety nets like SSDI, workers' compensation, and welfare as handouts. The reality of injury and disability. Most injured workers and SSDI claimants face despair, not luxury. No one chooses a life of 30% of their pre-injury income or prolonged unemployment. 98% of injured workers don't cheat the system, but the myth of widespread fraud punishes the honest majority while the elite profit from systemic denials. The myth of the hard work ethos. The narrative that hard work alone leads to success is used to justify inequality. Romanticizing suffering. Workers are told to take pride in struggle, while the elite enjoy lives of comfort and inherited privilege. Exploitation of labor. Those who build the economy, teachers, healthcare workers, and construction laborers, are undervalued, while billionaires grow wealthier. The reality of small businesses. Despite rhetoric, 70% of small businesses fail within 10 years, and systemic barriers favor monopolies over entrepreneurs. The weaponization of religion. Faith is twisted into a tool to justify wealth inequality and vilify the vulnerable. Selective morality. The wealthy claim divine favor for their privilege while labeling poverty as a moral failing. Manipulating faith. Religious leaders are co-opted to preach compliance, replacing teachings of justice and compassion with blame and shame. Nationalism. A smokescreen for inequality. Nationalism is used to distract from the true causes of economic hardship. Blaming immigrants. Immigrants are scapegoated for taking jobs and lowering wages, deflecting blame from corporate outsourcing and greed. False patriotism. The elite claim to protect American values, while profiting from tax evasion and exploitation of cheap labor. Criminalizing poverty. The war on the homeless. Rather than addressing systemic issues, lawmakers punish the poor. Anti-homeless laws. Cities ban sleeping in public and camping in parks, criminalizing homelessness instead of addressing affordable housing shortages. Profit-driven incarceration. The $850 billion spent on detention and deportation over the next decade funnels money into private prisons. Displacement for profit. Real estate developers use anti-homeless laws to clean up areas, displacing vulnerable populations and driving up rents. 6. SSDI and healthcare. Systems of oppression. Healthcare and disability systems are weaponized against those who need them most. The SSDI denial crisis. Nearly 70% of SSDI applications are denied initially, forcing workers into lengthy appeals while private contractors profit. Families face bankruptcy, homelessness, and despair, and suicides rise among those denied benefits. Doctors trained to deny. Medical professionals act as gatekeepers, trained to minimize or dismiss patient pain, often with state-backed immunity. Systemic bias in work and benefits. Discrimination compounds inequality across race, gender, and age. Gender bias. Women face higher denial rates for SSDI and healthcare benefits, with their pain often dismissed. Systemic racism. Minority groups are disproportionately denied benefits and face poorer healthcare outcomes. Ageism. Older workers are devalued in disability and healthcare systems, dismissed as not worth the investment. Unions. Myth versus reality. Unions, long seen as champions of workers, have failed to represent all laborers. Limited reach. Unions represent less than 10% of American workers, leaving most without a voice. Complicity in injustice. Many unions are silent on critical issues like a National Workers' Compensation Commission or the American Families United Act. Some, like the Teamsters, have been co-opted by corporate-aligned interests. Divide and conquer, the elite strategy. The elite maintain control by dividing workers and fostering resentment. Racial and national divisions. Workers are pitted against immigrants and minorities to distract from corporate exploitation. Healthcare and benefits as divisive tools. Limited resources and systemic bias pit workers against each other instead of challenging the elite. A call to action: reject the lies. It's time to expose the lies and fight back against a system designed to divide and exploit. Demand justice in healthcare and disability systems. End state immunity for negligent doctors and reform SSDI, VA, and workers' compensation systems. Address systemic biases in gender, race, and age. Reform unions to advocate for all workers. Push unions to support national workers' compensation reform and the American Families United Act. Unite across divisions. Workers, immigrants, and small business owners must recognize their shared struggles and demand systemic change. Conclusion: a path forward. The elite weaponize religion, nationalism, unions, SSDI, and the myth of hard work to maintain power and perpetuate inequality. The $850 billion spent on deportation, the systemic denial of benefits, and the exploitation of workers all serve to enrich the elite. Laws like the Laken-Riley Act prioritize profit over justice, while the American Families United Act offers a path to dignity and fairness. This isn't about left versus right, it's about right versus wrong. Together, we can reject the lies, demand justice, and build a system where dignity, fairness, and opportunity are realities, not just ideals. The time for division is over. The time for unity is now.